two players that are also the same size, but one of them is one of the best small ball centers in history of the NBA, and the other one is one of the best shooting guards and best three-point shooters in the history of the NBA. They were both in the same team for many years. They are both champions. I'm talking about. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Calling Glass. Welcome to the pub. Welcome to the club. My name is Alvaro, and I'm here as always. And today in the podcast, I'm talking about the real heights of the NBA players. Let's see it. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the pod. I hope everything is going well. And today, like I said at the start, I'm going to talk about the real heights of the NBA players, because players are not always the height that they claim or that the NBA claims them to be. But before jumping into that, I want to make a quick comment because recently I was listening to one of the videos of Drafteados, the Spanish channel of the NBA, and they mentioned that Michael Porter Jr. in a podcast, one of these podcasts that he collaborates or he does, he was talking about the issue of betting and sports betting and NBA betting. His brother was actually banned from the NBA for betting. And he was commenting, he was saying that for some players, they are tempted to bet because his friends from their hometown, they are sometimes, let's say, not in millions as they are doing and as the players are doing. And for them, it's very easy to just bet. It is very easy for the player to just miss a couple of threes. And in the other hand, their friends can make they can bet 10K and they can make like 200K out of that bet. So what he meant that it's easy for some people to say that they shouldn't bet, but he was also saying that it's hard for some young players when they have friends that are struggling financially to not help them just very easily just by missing a couple of 3-pointers and make them, solve all their life issues by doing that. Which I think is a fair point. I think it's a dangerous point or controversial point, but I think it's fair. That's the truth. Some people struggle, and if they can bet 10K and make 200K, might solve them a lot of their issues that they have. So I want to talk about sports betting, basketball betting, and also because recently Malik Beasley, who was being investigated for betting or for rigging, he was found, or I don't know if he was found innocent, but the last news is that he's gonna be able to play in the NBA. So I assume they didn't find anything that they could incriminate him with. And yeah, he's gonna be back. He's a free agent, so that's a juicy free agent because a lot of teams might want him. And yeah, that's why I'm gonna jump into this and I'm gonna talk about my opinion. And my opinion, it's gonna be controversial, but I think that rigging or insider information or just I think every player should do whatever they want, and I think it shouldn't be. I think they shouldn't be. The NBA should allow this. Why do I say this? First of all, I think sport betting is bad. I think a lot of people are addicted to betting, and I don't see the good side of sports betting, so I don't like it. And at the same time, I will let everyone rig, because if you let everyone to rig if they want to, sports betting ends. So that's the end of it. If the sports bet industry cannot control who is rigging and who is like missing or making 3-pointers on purpose, they cannot bet or they cannot put bets out because they don't know, they cannot control it. And I think that's fair. I think allowing all the teams, all the players, if they want to trade information or miss 3-pointers if they want, I think that's fair, and I think the NBA should allow it, and it will end up with the betting in sports, which I think is a good thing. Or maybe it wouldn't end up with the betting in sports, but it would end with the cheating in bets, because if you don't know, yeah, you might know that your player or your friend is gonna miss 3-pointers, but you don't know if the other player is also rigging it and doing something else. So it actually makes it fairer for everyone. I think a lot of bets will stop. Maybe it'll stay big bets like who's going to win the game, because teams, I don't think, will jump into betting just to lose. But yeah, overall, I think allowing players, coaches, even referees to say whatever they want about information, I wouldn't call it rigging, I would say just share information. I think the NBA should allow it because what I think the NBA is doing is not to protect basketball by investigating all this insider information. I think it's not to protect basketball. I don't think it's to make the NBA product better. I think the only reason that they're doing this is to protect the sport betting companies, which I understand because they give money to the NBA. But I don't like these industries, and I don't think the NBA should protect them. So I think they should allow to the players to do whatever they want. Which, by allowing all the players to do what they want, nobody will do anything and basketball will remain. That's what I think. Having said that, I jump into the topic that I want to talk about today, which is the NBA heights. And why do I want to talk about this? Because I think it's known, and if you don't know it, you will know now, that NBA players, they either lie about the height, or teams or agents or the NBA lies about the height of the players that play in the league. Usually, players' measurements in the NBA in the official pages are 1 inch or more taller than the real height. Some people claim that this is because they are being measured with shoes on, which, yeah, if you measure someone with shoes on, they will be a bit taller. But my point is here, why are we measuring people with the shoes on? It doesn't make any sense. You have the barefoot measurement so that everyone can be measured and compared equally. If you start measuring some people with shoes are different sizes. What if you wear like barefoot shoes, or you wear like high heel shoes? It doesn't make any sense. Like, nobody in the world measures themselves with shoes. Why are we doing this in the NBA? I don't think it makes any sense. And I think they should give the real measurements of the players. I understand why players do it, because you want to look, the taller that you are, the more attractive that you look for other teams to be able to pay you more or hire you or, trade for you. So of course, if you look taller, it's better. But I think the NBA should be here saying like, no, we're going to measure all of you at the beginning of the season or anytime that you enter the NBA. You're going to measure you barefoot, and that's your measurement, and that's it. And that's going to be official. I think they should do it like that. And actually, in 2019, they did that. They forced the teams to give the real measurements of their players to the league. I don't know what happened after that. I don't know why it didn't, because not all the teams gave the measurements. Most of them did. There is a lot of players, a big database from 2019, but it ended up that year. After that, it didn't continue. I still see fake or not real heights of players. So I looked at that database, and I also was looking at the draft combine measurements. Why? Because during the draft combine, when players go to the draft and they present to the draft and they go to the combine, then there they are measured barefoot. They have also measured the agility drills, wingspan, weight, etc. So the analysis that I did today was, I took this 2019 database of heights. I looked also in the draft combine from the past years, and I found out, or I saw some interesting heights of players that I'm going to share right now. But before I do that, I want to mention that I feel like each time, for the good of basketball and for the good, executives and coaches are each time looking less into the players' heights. So it doesn't matter that much what they say in the profile. What matters, because if an executive, is looking or is deciding who he's gonna trade for just based on their height, I think he doesn't know basketball. He's a casual. He doesn't know what matters of basketball. There's many other measurements, physical measurements that matter, like weight, strength, percentage of fat, speed, reach. That matters also. And as well, even not physical, which matters even more, like how talented the player is. Doesn't matter how tall he is. If you're going to trade for someone, you should look at way many more things than just height. And I think that's what they're doing mostly now. Advanced metrics have developed a lot. By the way, anyways, I'm going to start talking about certain groups I have group players by different sizes. I'm going to go from the smallest to the tallest. I'm talking about current and non-current players. But I think there are some interesting things to comment here. And the first group of players that I want to talk about. In the first group, there is a current now be sophomore in the NBA, and it's Bronny James. Bronny James has been heavily, let's say, criticized by his size, or at least it has been shown as one of the biggest negatives for him to be like a good player. They say that he's very small, and well, he is for the NBA. He's 6'1" and a half. He's 6 feet and 1.5 inches. And that is short for basketball, yes, true. And it's especially surprising being him the son of LeBron James, which is much taller. But here, there are players that are the same size that were successful in the NBA. For example, who else was the same size or around the same size as Bronny James? Well, no other than the former MVP, Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose is 6'1", half an inch shorter than Bronny James. Who else? Donovan Mitchell is 6'1", 25. So less than half or around the same height as Bronny James. Derrick Rose was an MVP. Donovan Mitchell has been a candidate for MVP for many years, and he's the best player. He's an all-star, all-NBA. He's the best player of the Cavaliers. By the way, both of them, Derrick Rose and Donovan Mitchell, they were listed as 6'3", even though they don't even reach 6'2". So they were increased, their size increased in the NBA page or in official pages by more than 1 inch, which I think is ridiculous. Who else is around the same size as Bronny James? Damian Lillard is 6'1", 75. So the same as, or almost the same as Bronny James. And both Kyrie Irving and Stephen Curry are both 6'2", only half an inch taller than Bronny James. Curry, one of the best players in the league in the history of the league. He's only 6'2". So what does this say about Bronny James? Well, I think it says that apart from his size, there is other issues that he has. He's not as talented as these players, which is obvious. It is true that at his size, you need to be extremely talented to be in the NBA, to be a good player. But it's possible. And the issues that he has is not only because of size, it's because of, I would say, raw talent. But I want to add something good about Bronny James. I think there is potential in him. I think his work ethics and his head, they look very good. He looks like a good kid who works hard, and maybe he got that from his father, the work ethic. And I don't discard that in the future, he could develop into a good NBA player. I don't think he will ever develop into an all-star. I don't think he's that talented to be an all-star, but with his physical tools, plus his potential to develop and his mindset that I think he has, and working hard, I think in some years, he could develop into an okay and a starter in the NBA. And I think it could happen. But, I'm not, this was not, this segment, this group was not to criticize Bronny James, but it was to make an example that, yeah, he's short, but so are many other point guards, great point guards in the NBA. Second group of players that I want to jump into. These two players, is a group of two, are two of the best perimeter defenders in the league right now. And they are almost the same size as Stephen Curry. Stephen Curry was 6'2". These players are 6'3". So the first one is Lu Dort, which actually he's less than 6'3". He's 6'2", 75. And the second player is Derrick White from the Boston Celtics. He is 6'3", 25. So they are 1 inch taller than Stephen Curry, and they are two of the best perimeter defenders in the league right now. The first one, Dort, he's known for being a dog in defense, not only guarding guards, but also small forwards. He's super strong. That's why he looks taller than he is. He plays bigger than what he actually is. And yeah, this is one example why height is not the only measurement, because Lu Dort is a beast. He's huge. And the second one, Derrick White, he's known also as for being one of the best shot blockers from the perimeter in the league. He gets a lot of rebounds, he shot blocks, he plays defense, he shoots threes. He's very overall good player. And as well, he's only 6'3". Another example of that height is not everything. And when I look at these both two players, Lu Dort and Derrick White, to me they look way taller. Well, maybe not way taller, but if you tell me that Lu Dort is 6'4" or 6, yeah, I could believe it. If you tell me that Derrick White is 6'5", I could also believe it. They look taller than what they actually are. Okay. Next group of players, also two players that I want to mention. Same height, completely different game. One of them likes to attack the rim, play from the outside in, finish near the basket above the rim with dunks. Second one, master of the mid-range, master of the three-point line, doesn't finish that good near the rim. And they are both the same size. I'm talking about Jalen Williams, J-Dub from the OKC, and Devin Booker from the Phoenix Suns. They are both not listed, but they are both 6'4 and a half. Only 6'4 and a half. Although Booker is listed as 6'6. But that's a lie. He's 1.5 inches shorter than 6'6. What matters here? Other measurements. Jalen Williams' wingspan is a huge factor because his wingspan is 7'2". Jalen Williams. His arms are super long, and that's why he can finish both players in dunks. In the other hand, Booker, his wingspan is 6'8", which is not bad. But you can see here that two players with the same height can have completely different game because of their other physical attributes. I move on to the next group of players, which are actually the first two that I want to talk about are two players that are also the same size, but one of them is one of the best small ball centers in history of the NBA, and the other one is one of the best shooting guards and best three-point shooters in the history of the NBA. They were both in the same team for many years. They are both champions. I'm talking about Draymond Green and Klay Thompson. They are both the same size, and they are 6'5", 75. They are below 6'6". And this is very surprising. For Klay Thompson, that's okay. He's a shooting guard. But for Draymond Green to be below 6'6" and be one of the best defenders in the league is insane. He plays great inside the paint as a defender, and he can also defend the perimeter. This guy is ridiculous, and it's very surprising to me. And again, another example that physical tools and the build of players matters as well as their height, because Klay is much more slimmer than Draymond Green. But yeah, who else also is the same size? 6'5", 75. The Thompson twins, Ausar and Amen. They are both the same size, although they look way taller. I think because of the physical abilities, it feels like they can run the full court in 3 strides, which maybe is true, and they look way taller. I would say that they are 6'7" or 6'8", but no, they are below 6'6". And the last player of this group, that is also the same size, he's actually 0.25 inches taller than this group. He's 6'6", although usually he is labeled as 6'7", and it is Kawhi Leonard, one of the best small forwards, usually seen as a big, strong small forward. Well, he's 6'6". Okay, and I move on to a different group, which is kind of interesting. And in this next group, I want to talk about two rookies that just entered the league. They haven't played they played in the summer league, but not in the NBA yet. One of them, he claimed to be 6'10" before entering the league. The other one, people say that he's 6'9", but neither of them are 6'9" or 6'10". I'm talking about Ace Bailey, who he is 6'7" and a half, and Cooper Flagg, who he is 6'7" and 75. They are both below 6'8". Flagg is another example of playing bigger than what he is. He has weight, he has wingspan, 7 feet, he has tremendous athletic ability, strength, and to me, even though they are not 6'9" or 6'10", like they claim to be, they're still great prospects. I think you have to take into consideration that they are not 6'9", but people that are 6'9" are neither 6'9". So everyone in the league is 1 inch shorter, average. So them being 6'7" and a half, 6'7", 75, is actually good for the league. Who else is the same size? Interesting. Aaron Gordon from the Nuggets. He's 6'7", 6 feet, 7 inches and a half. Same as Ace Bailey. And he's one of the current best power forwards and one of the dunker spot specialists. Super strong. As well, who is the same size, 6'7", 75. It's Kevin Love. And to me, that's unreal because Kevin Love was one of the best rebounders in the league when he was in Minnesota. He was super heavy. He was huge. But yeah, he was Mr. Double-Double. He was gathering more than 10 rebounds every game. He even gathered in some games, or at least 30 rebounds. He did a 30-30 double-double, which is insane for a guy who is below 6'8". One more player that's the same size, Paul George. I think this one is known. He's always been seen as a big small forward with a lot of finesse and athletic ability, and but he's not 6'8". He's almost 6'8", but not 6'8". And then I have two players, also very interesting, that are around 6'8", but also very different profiles. One of them, he's 6'8", and he's one of the best rim runners and rim protectors of the NBA. And it's Rob Williams, former Celtic, current Trailblazer. And the second one is Pascal Siakam, who he is 6'8", 25, so a bit taller. But it's completely different. He plays as a small forward, maybe power forward in this new NBA, but completely different. Skinnier, faster, playing from the outside in, shooting threes. And after seeing this group of players, to me, it's very surprising that out of Ace Bailey, Cooper Flagg, Aaron Gordon, Kevin Love, Paul George, Rob Williams, the tallest of all is Pascal Siakam. Who have thought that? I wouldn't have thought that at the beginning, but yeah, Siakam is taller than all these guys, which is very surprising. And in the last group, after that, I have one more player that I want to mention, but this is the last group of players. We're getting taller. We went from 6'1" to 6'8" now, so we're getting a bit taller now. In this group, there is three players. Two of them are two of the best big men defensive players in NBA history. And the third one is one of the best perimeter scorers in NBA history. The perimeter scorer that I'm talking about is Kevin Durant, which probably you know the story of Kevin Durant, but when he was in high school, he claimed to be, high school and college, he claimed to be shorter than what he was. He claimed to be 6'9", because if he was seen as taller, 6'10", 6'11", people or coaches would play him in the post. So he said that he was 6'9", so he could play in the perimeter. Then when he got to the NBA after a couple of years, people started to notice something weird, started to be suspicious of his height, because he looked taller than the centers in the teams. So he was like, there's no way that he's 6'9". That's when people or the NBA started to say that his size was actually 6'11". But the truth is that Kevin Durant is neither 6'9" or 6'11". He's 6'10", which is still pretty tall, but not 6'11". And what is funny or interesting is that he's still, being 6'10", he's still taller than these two dominant big men that I'm going to say right now. And I'm talking about Dwight Howard and Anthony Davis. Mind-blowing. Dwight Howard I knew already for a couple of years. When he left, I think after Orlando, after Lakers, after the first time he was in Lakers, he shrinked. He started to, not shrink, but he lost a bit of muscle, and he started to look a bit shorter. But at Orlando, this guy was seen as the new Shaquille O'Neal, as the new Superman, right? He was huge. He was the most dominant, the best defender in the league by far. He could block everything. Nobody could get near the rim with him. He was so muscular. His shoulders were like crazy. But the truth is that he's only 6'9", which is super surprising to me. I remember that everyone in the league said that he was 6'11", officially 6'11". Dwight Howard 6'11". No, he's 6'9". And with Anthony Davis, I was also very surprised, because I didn't, I checked this now and I saw it now. He's 6'9", 25 only. So he's 6'9", 6 feet, 9 inches, 0.25. That's all. That's what the size of Anthony Davis is. They are shorter almost by 1 inch to Kevin Durant. And this blows my mind, because Anthony Davis is one of the best rim protectors and rim runners, and one of the most, terrorizing big men in the league right now. He grabs all the rebounds, he blocks all the shots. And he's only 6'9". That's the truth. So it's very, very surprising. And the truth is that they are both of these guys are only 1 inch taller than Siakam, which is ridiculous. But that's the truth. And last thing, Durant, even though he's not 6'11", 6'10", is still super tall and still super incredible the way that the guy with this height moves. How coordinated he is, how fluid he is. It's still impressive, even though he's not 6'11", which, 6'9" is still huge. And lastly, this is not a group of players. I'm almost done, but I want to talk about one more player, because I was looking at sizes, I was looking at Draft Combine, and I saw something different that I wanted to comment right now. And probably you have heard of this guy. He's a rookie in this season. He played in the summer. Nobody knew about him before they drafted him. They didn't even know. Yeah, nobody knew about him. He has played very well in the summer league, and people have started to jump in the hype train for him. He was drafted number 16 to the Portland Trail Blazers. He's known as the Chinese Jokic for his similarities with the great vision, his passes, he can shoot. I'm talking about Hansen Yang. And what surprises me about him, because he looked incredible in the summer league, is that I thought he would be the same size as Jokic is, right? Jokic is 6'11". I thought Hansen Yang would be around the same. He's officially barefoot draft combined measurement 7 feet 1 inches. Hansen Yang is 7 feet 1 inches, 2 inches taller than Jokic. This is insane as well. To see a guy moving this well, passing the rock that well, shooting. Before I was already in the train, in his hype train. Now I'm in the plane. Like I'm his fan right now, and I think he will develop into a great player. Because it's true that he's not athletic, but who needs athleticism when he has this coordination? He can move, he can pass, and he's 7'1". Like it doesn't matter if you can sprint faster or jump higher. You don't need to jump with this size. So yeah, I was very surprised to see that his real height is 7'1". Because he's gonna go play against centers that are 2 or 3 inches shorter than him. AD is 2 inches shorter than him. Rob Williams is 3 inches shorter than him. But he's not gonna play against him. They're in the same team. But for reference, that's a huge difference in between players. But yeah, I'm a big fan of Hansen Yang already. And yeah, with that, I think that's my analysis. So that's the heights that I found interesting, the players that I found interesting to comment the real heights. But I have a conclusion. I have a highlight to comment right now. And it's that after seeing all this, I want to say that yes, basketball players, they are tall. Height matters, but maybe it matters less than we thought originally. And I think basketball players should start hitting the gym because height is not going to cut it. You probably need strength and other tools. Strength probably. But it goes also for the same guy for the shorter guys. Go to the gym because you don't know if you can get stronger. And you know that height doesn't matter that much. So if you get really strong, you can actually maybe get some places. So that's a bit, let's say the end of this is that you should always hit the gym and you should not discard anyone based on height because as you see, players with same heights can play different roles based on other things. So yeah, that's a bit the conclusion of this analysis. Hit the gym, that's the end goal. And now I jump to the final segment of the podcast, which is called I Know What You Did. And in this segment, I travel in time to the same date or on the same dates in the history of the NBA. So right now I'm recording this 24th of August. So I'm going to jump back to the 21st of August of 1936. So I know what you did the summer of 1936. Why? Because that date, August 21st, in Philadelphia, in Pennsylvania, Wilt Chamberlain was born. A player who would become one of the most dominant forces in NBA history. Wilt grew up during the Great Depression in a large family with 9 siblings. From an early age, his height set him apart. By 10, he was already taller than 6 feet. And by the end of high school, he was over 7 feet tall. He played high school basketball in the Overbrook High School in Philadelphia. In his senior year, he averaged more than 37 points per game. Local newspapers were calling him already the next giant of basketball. Then he went to play college basketball in Kansas, in the University of Kansas, where he continued to break records. But he was facing criticism for being so physically superior to everyone else, which is kind of ridiculous. That's the point of basketball. But anyways. After, he went to play a bit with the Harlem Globetrotters, but then he made his NBA debut in 1959 with the Philadelphia Warriors. From there, the legend only grew. 4-time MVP, 7-time scoring champion, 11-time rebounding champion, and of course, author of the famous 100-point game. And it all began that day August 21st, 1936, with the birth of a boy in Philadelphia who grew into one of the best and greatest names in the history of sports, Wilt Chamberlain. I know what you did in the summer of 1936. And with that, I'm going to end up the podcast for today. I hope you liked it. I hope you subscribe. I hope you comment. I hope you give ideas, opinions. That's all. Bye bye.